Hey guys, what's going on? So first thing we want to do is be able to open up our ankles. We're going to start 3 rolls, flexing that ankle as much as we can. Remember to keep that core tight. Balance nice and slow. After this, we're going to move into our hip car. The focus here is to be able to keep that knee as high as we can as we push back. Try not to bend and fold our upper body too much. If you need to hold on to something, feel free to go ahead and brace yourself on the rig or the wall or PVC pipe. We're going to do 3 each side. Just like that. Open up, feel that stretch. If you feel you need to do a little more, make sure you pause this and make sure you get those in. Perfect. Push that leg back, feel that stretch. Now what's going to happen, you're going to grab your leg, do that single leg standing quad stretch. I'm going to flex my glutes, hold for 3 to 10 seconds, and then as I release, I'm going to try to pull that foot up a little bit higher to allow that stretch to really sink into that quad. Once again, if you need to balance for this, feel free to go ahead and balance. There's nothing wrong with using some support. Now what's going to happen, I'm going to set up for my hamstring stretch. I'm going to come down, scoot, nice flat back, 5 to 10 second hold, flexing my legs, feeling that nice deep stretch, and then I'm going to release and let my body relax as I fold all the way down. Remember to go as low as you can. It's not about forcing those legs straight, but stretching them, elongating those muscles to where they can eventually straighten. Remember to breathe. Now we're going to do some air squats to get some blood flow into that, loosen up those from that static stretching. We're going to do about 10 air squats and 20 lunges. Remember, they may not always look great. We're just warming up and working out the stiffness. You're going to lunge, letting that back knee slightly peck the ground. Don't let it drop down too hard. Engage that core as you drop down into each lunge, flexing the glute to the top. Remember to let that knee go right over the toe. Remember, don't step back too far. We don't want to put the pressure on the knee, but we want that knee to be able to warm up. Now we're going to get down to our frog stretch position. Now remember, if you guys need any time to get into this, go ahead and pause. Now as I sit here in this frog stretch, I'm going to do 3 pelvic tilts. Once I get into that position, I'm just going to let it sit there. And now I'm going to pelvic tilt, trying to push back after each pelvic tilt, just letting that low back and those abductors open up. I'm going to go right into my single leg lift. Try not to let that hip dip too far forward. But as you feel that hip open up, make sure that you're pushing back against that to feel that stretch the entire time. 3 each side. Now remember, it's 3 reps, but you can also think of this as 3 breaths. Going to go forward and back, taking those hips to the ground, pushing back, letting it stretch. Pull all the way forward to the hips touch the ground. You may not have that ability to get all the way down, but you just want to make sure that you are working to get there. Now I'm going to sit up and I'm going to help open up that thoracic, dropping that shoulder down nice and easy. Alternating each time. I'm doing 6 total, 3 each side. And if all this is a little bit too much, you can always just sit in this frog stretch for a few minutes, letting those hips naturally open up. Reaching as far as I can each time, and then I'm going to do my press ups, bringing my hips forward. This one's always pretty tight on the hips. Trying to get those hips to the ground, pushing back each time. Good. Stretch it, shake out those hips. It always works. It always helps out. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to do my hip circles by starting with 3 pelvic tilts forward. Notice I'm at the top of that scat push-up, not letting my arms bend, and now I'm going to roll those hips around. I'm going to do 3 in each direction, making big, nice, strong circles using my abdominal to pull in. Perfect. Now I'm going to set up for my half kneeling abductor sit back. Good. I'm going to roll that foot up, sitting back each time, letting that abductor stretch out. You'll feel it on that growing and that hamstring. Sit back as far as you can. There's no need to force it. Make sure that back leg and that back foot is flat as well. Good. Sit back into it. And if this is a little bit too fast, make sure that you pause and take your time in these stretches to be able to open up these hips. Now what's going to happen is we're going to do our half kneeling single leg knee drop. Back foot is flat. I'm going to sit back and just lean forward as much as I can to try to let that knee tap the ground and come right back. If that's too much, you can always put the med ball under the knee and work on the depth that you're working to get to. Good. And you might have a little hard fall, like drop down, which is completely fine. But the more you do this, the more control you will have. Now what's going to happen, we're going to do our sissy squat into a knee drop on a med ball. We're going to go up on our tippy toes, and this might be a little bit tough for some. That's completely fine. Just let it tap, come right back. Try not to let your weight fall onto that ball. There you go, nice and easy. Go up on those tippy toes, lean in, come right back. Now we're just going to do sissy squat into that knee drop. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of a drop and some momentum to come back up. But once again, it's all about progression and being able to get to where we won't have to use that momentum to sit back up. If you lose your balance, it's fine. Shake it off and keep going. There we go. And now what's going to happen, we're going to go back and we're going to do a series of the Shin box or your 90-90, whichever you want to call it. But once again, so what's going to happen, I'm going to sit back right here. I'm going to put pressure down on that forward leg, and I'm trying to raise my knee and my foot at the same time without rocking. We're going to do 12 reps. Good, just like that. It's going to start burning right in that hip flexor. And then now I'm going to do my shin box to single leg rotations on that same side. Let that knee drop all the way down. Come back. Don't rush this. It will start to burn, but it will open up and become easier the more you put the time in this position. Once you get to 12, we're going to rotate sides. Go back to the shin box, rear leg lift. Right there, we're gonna lift that knee and that foot at the same time. It's definitely gonna be burning, but don't rush this. Put pressure on that forward leg and support with that back hand. Try not to rock too much, but sometimes you have to because it burns. There we go, right into those single leg rotations. Like I said, we're doing 12 of these, just flossing that hip back down. Try not to let that upper body move too much. And then we're going to go into our shin box rotations into a hip thrust. Shake it out and get ready for that. What's going to happen, you're going to start here. You can use your hands for support if you need to. We're just going to allow our hands to fold. Some feet may drag, that's fine, but we're going to try not to. Sit up, flex that glute, feel the stretch in those flexors. Rotate around. Using that core to stabilize. Now you may have to have your hands behind you, which I'll demo in just a second. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right there. And now remember, as you guys progress with this, use those hands. Just come back, brace for the roll, for that rotation. Get those reps in. Allow those hips to open up. Now remember, this will help release and relieve lower back pain, knee pain, all this stuff. If you have to take your time and progress with it, that's perfectly fine. Just remember, take your time, don't rush it, and just be easy on yourself. Thanks, guys. Cheers.